Welcome back to Keeping America's Promise, our town hall on the work being done in Texas and nationwide to help our veterans move into civilian occupations. Let's get our conversation going. And I want to introduce our panelists. Jeff Cleland is the manager of the Bush Presidential Center Military Service Initiative. John Corson is the president and CEO of the Home Builders Institute. Also joining us is Jeff Hall, the National Employment Director for the Disabled American Veterans with 1.3 million members. And finally, I'd like to welcome to the stage Nicole Gardner, Vice President and founder of the Public Service Eminence Academy for IBM Global Business Solutions. Welcome, and thank you all so much for this important discussion. And I want to start with the corporate bigwig amongst you, and that is you, Nicole. Tell us what IBM is doing to recruit and retain veterans, especially because the technology sector is so important.
Problem solving, teamwork, great leadership skills. These are all very highly valued skills in the workforce, and IBM's very, very interested in getting as many of those great people to come and work and add to our team. We have a terrific training program that we offer as a free in-classroom training for certification on I2, which is an analyst program. It's a software tool that is very widely used across many industries. So we hire people who come out of that program, and we have given a leg up to veterans who get that certification and can take that as a credential. More than 500 people have gone through the program already.
One of the things that I wanted to lay out from the beginning after speaking to many of you is just the importance of work for a veteran. And I wonder if you could speak a little bit to that, Jeff, the importance of veterans coming back from deployment and transitioning, and why work and what type of work is meaningful to them and why it's so important.
Yeah, I think from a societal level, we pretty much know that if you have meaningful employment, you're less likely to use government services, you're less likely to commit crimes, you're less likely to use healthcare services. There's all these other implications that come to it. So it's important for these transitioning service members to find that right job so that way they're living a meaningful life. But finding that meaningful job is just important for all these other issues that maybe surround the transition itself.
Jeff Hall, with disabled veterans, can you speak to that as well, and maybe some of the unique challenges that one might face if they've been injured in the battlefield and come back now as a disabled veteran looking for work in the civilian marketplace?
I didn't really care what I was doing when I got out. I just knew I needed to go to work because you need to keep the continuation of the getting up and going with purpose. And it didn't really register with me, you know, because I wasn't in this career at that particular point. But 25 years later of talking with veterans in various capacities, whether it's helping them through our service program with getting their benefits, whether it's disability benefits because they've been injured, or the many others. When we started doing these career fairs, we didn't really gauge how many people walking through the door would be somebody that was suffering from a service-related disability. And so that altered to what we were doing, DAV, when we're working with companies that are there helping them find that candidate. It transitioned us on the floor to be able to have these conversations of, are you getting your benefits? Because as much as employment and the continuation of that is important, so too are finding those resources and making sure they're getting their benefits, because it all goes
Absolutely.
hand in hand.
John Corson, I want to bring you into this conversation and Home Builders Institute, because when we talk about different ways that veterans can get trained, you actually go to the bases and train veterans before they're even veterans, when they're still active duty and they're on their way out. Talk about why that's important to start recruiting before they've actually left the service.
We're actually going physically on military installations. We are training military personnel who are going to transition out of the service within 180 days. The typical demographic in that program is soldiers, Marines, airmen, so on, that are probably served their first enlistment, maybe their second. They're in their mid-20s, 23, 24, 25, came into the service right out of high school. Many of them do not have a skill that's portable into the civilian industry, and a high number come from the artillery, infantry side, and frankly, to be all due respect to my corporate friends, they don't want to sit behind a desk. They want to do something that keeps them working as a team, outdoors with their hands and so on. So we've put our program in these situations, and what we try to do is make sure than just train them, that we go through a step of connecting with them. We assess each one. What do you want to do when you leave in 2 months or 3 months? What do you really want to do long-term with your career? We train them with that curriculum. They get a certification. And every place we train, we have a job placement function. And right now, we're placing well over, in fact, most bases, 100% of those soldiers into jobs in the construction industry.